All right, welcome back to another one. Here are 10 business mistakes that I've made so that you don't have to trip over the mistakes that I've made and do it all again. Mistake number one is really, really simple. Before I get into that, I probably need to introduce myself. My name is Adiki, founder of O-Scale, and I help businesses get more leads, make more sales, keep more customers, and save a bunch of time. So let's get straight into it. Mistake number one is thinking that I had to look the part to be able to be in the part. Now, for many years, I worked in corporate jobs, and I was told so many times, you need to dress for the role that you want. Well, what if the role that I wanted wasn't in that company? What does a business owner look like? What does an entrepreneur look like? Did I need to wear a suit to be able to get to a particular role? No. The reality is that when you are in the business that I'm in right now, you're actually assessed based on the value and the results that you've actually achieved. Now, to be able to do that, you don't have to look a particular way. You just need to be able to be really good at problem solving and moving through some of the challenges that life and business navigates as you're going through it. Let's take a breath. So, the next part is mistake number two, expecting to win rather than planning to win. Now, that is a huge difference and mainly stems from mindset. When you come into things having a hope and plan, or not even a hope, or just like maybe thinking that it's okay that you're going to win, it's like navigating through um, in a boat down a river with no oar or with no engine. You're just allowing the current to take you wherever it wants you to go. And you're moving all over the place rather than actually having a plan and having action steps that move you towards that desired outcome that you're looking to achieve. That's what that's all about. So making sure that instead of expecting to win, planning to win is a huge one. Now, mistake number three. This one's a real doozy. Now, for me, I always thought that once I get to the place that I want to get to, things are just going to be easier. But the reality is that when you get to a place where you've got the things that you wanted to do or wanted to achieve, let's say you have the ideal job, or you have the ideal financial income, or you have the businesses or portfolio that you wanted. That just simply means that you've got more problems to deal with. And the more things that you achieve, the bigger the problems are, and the harder it is to actually continue to move forward. They say another level, another devil, another thing that you really need to break through. It's almost like your reward for solving problems is a new problem. That problem is bigger than your last problem, and it's more challenging to navigate through. So we end up living this perpetual cycle of solving problems, achieving problems, solving problems, achieving problems. And that becomes a cycle. So rather than just having that expectation that when I get there, it's going to be okay, it's actually when you get there, strap up, buckle yourself in, get ready for the next one. All right. Challenge number three, wasting time on the wrong people. Now, from a sales perspective, I want to talk about this. There are times where you're just chasing down leads, having conversations with people who you in your heart of hearts know are probably never going to go through. You have that feeling in your gut. But rather than wasting time talking to the wrong people or the people that aren't even interested in your services, just move on. There's so many opportunities out there, and it's best not to get fixated or stuck on that one big fish. Okay. Bear in mind that there are many fish in the sea. Mistake number, where are we up to? Five. Mistake number five is such an interesting one. It's knowing when to sell or knowing when to make the decision or that big decision in your company. Now, there are plenty of times in business where I've made plenty of money, and there's plenty of time in business where I've struggled to make any money. Now, some of the things external to you can impact us. Over the last 5 years or so, we've all gone through that crazy time where we've been locked down, and the economic structure around the world has been so challenging to stay alive in business. We've seen changes globally. But if you were a business that was impacted, you needed to be in tune with knowing what to do in that particular time, when to adjust. And if you hold on to this idea that it's the wrong time, or you're wasting time, or it's time to move on to the next business, and you don't take that particular action, you're actually stuck in a sinking ship. You've got this little hole that's leaking through in that river that I explained before in that boat, and it's just slowly sinking. And instead of plugging it up or choosing to just go to the shore, you're actually too deep to get out of drowning. Now, number six. Number six is really interesting. It's talking about time and treating time as if it's limited. So, having respect for time is super interesting because we think about some of the people that have achieved the most enormous success stories. This millennia has been a time where people have achieved all their goals, and we've seen the most amount of millionaires. We've seen kids that are in their mid 20s become retired because of so many different things. But there's no difference in terms of where they're at compared to where you're at. They've got the same access to resource. Well, maybe not resources, but the resource of time they've got the same access to. So I guess we need to treat each hour with a structure that is productive and moving into a direction that is productive for whatever goal you want to achieve. Number seven, rather. Thinking hard work is simply enough. Now, like anyone in the gym, everyone is in there doing the maximal that they can do with the time that they're allocated. There are some working harder than others, but it's not actually hard work that's actually going to get you there. So, when it comes to hard work, it's actually about not just sacrificing, not just doing what's required. It's more about making sure you're leveraging time and leveraging things. So, for example, if you're outsourcing some of the solutions, you're actually leveraging time to multiply the output that you've got. Or if you're using systems and automations in your business, you're actually being able to you're creating a space where you're able to do more with in a smarter way. So it's actually about working smarter, not just harder as well. Number eight. Number eight is really simple. It's about taking the big swings. So thinking in life that we're not just playing it safe, but we've got so many opportunities available to us. Why not take a big swing at the ones that are available? Rather than taking small calculated steps, just go 100% in for it. You know, when I first bought my first business, um, for about 5 to 7 years prior to that, I was thinking and dreaming about buying a business. Why didn't I buy the business 5 to 7 years beforehand? Because of this idea in my head that I'm going to fail, I'm not going to be successful. What happens if I don't do it? And what happens if it goes bad? The reality is that I'm not going to know what the solution is to the next problem unless I take the first step. And what I mean is, if I bought the business 5 or 7 years prior to actually taking action, I would have been able to deal with the first problem. Rather than manifesting and thinking of problems in my head, I would have been in a place where I would have been able to just deal with problems. And often the hardest step is the first step of getting started. So that's probably one of the big lessons that I took away. Number seven, getting distracted by the competition. Now, it's perfectly fine to conduct a competitor analysis. I would expect you to do that as a business owner. But I think the part where it gets a bit over the top is where you have an obsession with your competition, where you're focusing so much on them that you're not focusing on just delivering the core fundamentals within your business around what you're good at. So, for example, if your value proposition is that you are great at building relationships as a real estate agent, for example, every real estate agency has stock on the market. What makes you different? Well, it's actually you that makes you different. It's your personality, it's the way that you engage, it's the smile that you have and the persona that you exude when you're having conversations with people. Rather than trying to be the other real estate agent, the Tom Panels, for example, or the other person that you think is so successful in your competition or in your market, just focus on you and developing you to be better rather than looking at other people. And lesson number 10 is thinking I had to win every single time. Holding on to this laurel that no matter how much I go for it, I need to be the person that comes out on top. Now, I grew up as a fairly competitive athlete when it comes to sport. I played sporting at a high level. I was used to always being on the winning team. But the truth about business is that you need to learn to fail and learn from those failures in order for you to keep going. It's not one of those things that you can get in and just coast on your natural talent. I was able to use a lot of my natural talent in sport to help me propel to high levels of competition. But in business, it's not like that. And understanding that you are not always going to win, but you're always going to win at taking away a lesson is one of the most important things rather than focusing on the ability to be able to win and be good at everything. It almost becomes a false sense of security being a high performing athlete because in business, it doesn't always go that same way. So, those are 10 lessons that I hope you can learn from so that you don't have to go through the same failures that I did and you can get success faster. Thank you very much for tuning in. If you're interested in this type of content, please subscribe to below and follow along the journey. My name's Adiki again, founder of O-Scale, and in short, we help customers get more leads, make more sales, keep more customers, and save a bunch of time. I will see you in the next video.